Welcome everyone and welcome back to our channel and yet another exciting and educational conversation that has the goal of sharing our views and experiences about a particular topic. So what's the topic of the day, I'm wondering?
Great question. Today is a topic that was a great idea that came from a follow up comment on a previous episode on fulfillment and validation.
Yeah.
And the comment asked, once you reach your goal, fulfilled, validated, what next? What about the maintenance plan to make it a habit? Taking it further. And the word maintenance struck with me because it made me think that as we constantly seek on improvements, at what point do we change our mindset of improvement and start looking towards maintenance? And that's when we reach our goal. So, for example, if I have a certain goal of reading 3 books a month, and
Yeah.
then, I want to work out till I get to this percent body fat. Now, let's say I reach those goals. What then? Does it then become okay, instead of improving it, now I just have to maintain it. I have to settle for what I currently am achieving and not think of a way to make it better. That maintenance mindset gives us a different attitude towards a improvement mindset. Because now instead of thinking, oh, how can I do better? What can I change? We just think, oh no, I have to go to the gym now so I don't change my body fat percent, or I have to maintain my deadlift weight. I have to maintain reading 3 books a month, even though I absolutely dread this one book I'm reading. This whole attitude shift starts slowly dragging us into a rut where now these habits start to feel like a chore to do.
Mm-hmm.
And doing those habits, start draining energy. We feel unmotivated. And oftentimes we start to forget the reason why we did it in the first place. Because now it just feels like a chore to take the trash out, do your laundry, just another thing to cross off and not get the same sense of accomplishment that we once did before from it.
Hmm. Okay, that is a very good point. So let me just we go. Okay, great. So yeah, it was about the goal, right, that we achieve. So yeah, what I think about the goal achievement and then the subsequent maintenance is that first we kind of go up, right, in this journey towards some sort of goal, because conceivably, so let's say we have this example of losing the fat and maintaining some sort of fat percentage in the body, right? So when we get to that goal, we have sort of upward movement, right? It feels like we are progressing, developing, achieving smaller goals on the way to a bigger one. And then what happens when we arrive at the goal? So that's when the maintenance can start, right? Or that's when we can start making the decisions about what's going to happen next. And actually, up to this point, I think it's not as dangerous in terms of falling into the rut when we go towards the goal, right? It's what happens when we achieve the goal, as a matter of fact. That's when we need to be kind of especially careful about our future decisions once the goal is achieved, what to do next. So that's something to think about. And I used to think, for example, that the problems are mostly kind of like when I'm going to achieve the goal. So they happen before the goal. I need to solve something. But then looks like in a lot of cases, the bigger problems lie actually when I achieve the goal and then what happens next. So yeah, that's kind of the important point to consider. So you should not be kind of like, to some extent, afraid of the journey, I would say, towards the goal, but you need to be kind of like careful and cognizant of the situation that comes next once the goal is achieved. So that's going to be the difficult time as well, believe it or not.
Just to add on to that, like, yes, you have to be careful of, I guess, the destination and not get this mindset of destination fixation, where in any aspect of your life, like your job, your friendships, the people in your life, the goals you have, like, physically, mentally, anything.
Yeah.
Like, just because you got to where you wanted to, doesn't mean you're done. And be very, very careful, I guess, of this mindset, because as soon as you get to where you want to, you should not stop there. Like,
Yeah, that
be
makes sense.
be proud of how far you've come, but don't be satisfied with not like wanting to progress, with not wanting to improve. Because when we think improvement versus maintenance, like when I think maintenance, I think something choreful, something painful to do, like maintaining a car, taking it to the garage. When you have to do that, when it's on your to-do list, you're like, ugh, I have to go get this chore done. And
Oh yeah.
yeah, like you don't want to have that mindset with like your goals, your ambitions in life, and many, many things. And kind of like to go about this quote I've heard many times, like a man or a woman or person that loves a destination is better and
Mm-hmm.
stronger than the person. No, sorry, a person that loves a journey is better than the person that loves a destination. Because if you're always thinking about the journey, you're always thinking about improving. So, me, for example, like I do boxing and I do Muay Thai. Yes. And like I started out not knowing anything. And lately, like I've been very, very proud of like my progress and how far I've come. And now the funny thing is, like I've stepped into this new, I guess, not destination, but like this new journey or like this new path where like I'm like, holy shit, like I do not know, like that I like have so much more to learn and that I have so much more room to grow. And if you
Yes.
have that mindset with so many of your goals in life, with like everything, then like you'll always want to focus on improvement. You'll always want to focus on growing. And like you can think of friends and people in your life. Like when you think of like, oh, maintaining people in my life, that sounds choreful, that sounds dreadful.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
when you think of it as like an improvement mindset, you think, okay, like take like you guys, for example. Like you guys aren't people to maintain in life. You guys are people that we improve, we build off one another, we learn and we grow from each other. That's where the
Yeah.
improvement mindset comes in. And that I guess is like what we want to stick to. And I would say I'm very proud of all three of us, to be honest. But then again, like I'm not satisfied with us either. Why? Because we can improve, we can grow, we can do better. And think of it as like progress, not perfection. There's no such thing as perfection. It's always progress. No matter how good you are, no matter how far you've come, there's always progress. There's always progress
Exactly.
to be done.
Yeah. Yeah, there is always progress. That's what we need to keep in mind. And once we make some progress, achieve the goal, we need to like aim to make further progress. So I'll just draw some example from my life in America, actually. So what happened is the following situation. For example, I was at some point in the graduate school, right? And then I was kind of like scared maybe of the process, especially when it was maybe my first year in the graduate school. I was thinking, what if I don't achieve something and then I will fall out or something will go wrong at some point in the process, right? So I was kind of trying to work hard, right? And then I was working hard and achieving kind of the objectives, right, which I was supposed to achieve. I was progressing, right? And then at some point, there was the goal achievement, right, which was marked by, let's say, some form of award, for example, right? So I literally got a diploma of some sort, right, for my great achievement uh, during a particular season or a semester, let's say more specifically in academia, right? And then what happened once kind of I achieved that goal, I did not, I think, I wasn't aware of what can happen next. I thought then it's going to be just great, but I didn't have a particular thought about what I'm going to do next after achievement of that goal. And actually what happened is that I sort of achieved a plateau with which was marked by the kind of reception of a particular reward, right? So let's say, or some sort of like good mark. And after that, I was not improving, I was not growing. And instead, actually, I felt like I was going down in my performance. When I was like fueled by something, right? So by some sort of, let's say, maybe threats, right? If you don't do well, then you will be, for example, let's say, kicked off from the program, right? For example, then I was motivated and I was constantly working and progressing and improving. But then once kind of I got, let's say, the reward or an award, whatever it may be, when I achieved the goal, that said, okay, well, I have done well at this point. So here is some kind of like, let's say, extra monetary award, for instance. You are doing good, you are off the hook. Then I did not progress. I didn't know what to do at this point. Maybe I did not just have enough experience, for example, at work and in science and academia, things like that. And my performance actually dipped at this point when I was just kind of like trying to achieve or be in some sort of homeostasis stage after the kind of achievement of the goal.
Yeah. You guys mentioned really good points, especially with the plateau and what you said, Aziz, about kind of like taking a car for regular maintenance checkups, because I even had that written down in my notes. And the first part about the plateau is that sometimes we realize too late when we hit the plateau, because especially when it's a big mountain that we have to climb, we think, oh, the peak is just up ahead. Just have to climb a bit more, get the wheels turning. And then as soon as we reach up there,
Yeah.
sometimes we stop and think, oh, this is the top. It's great up here. But we don't look around to see that there's even another level higher. So while we're at this plateau from a stage that you just go climbing up and then you reach a flat line, it's a
Mm-hmm.
great idea, as we said before, to savor in the victory. But what we don't want to do is get too fixated on where we are now. Because then what happens is we start to feel that, okay, it doesn't get any better than this. Right now is perfect. I am happy where I am now, and I don't want to change. Change will be uncomfortable now. Why would I want to be uncomfortable when I was just uncomfortable a few moments ago? Like that whole idea of comfort zone is what slowly drags us back into falling into the rut. Because now we're like, I have achieved, you know, a degree. Do I need another one? No, now is good. I'm happy. I can relax. That little extra hour of sleep is feeling nice now. I can now, you know, sleep in a bit, relax. It
Oh, yeah.
feels good. Rather than, especially what you said, or like that feeling of the possibility of losing with punishment is what I think probably one of the best motivators ever. Because when we have a lion that's chasing us, we tend
Right.
to run faster than we think we can run. Everyone runs faster when there's a lion
That's a great
chasing.
point. Yeah. Yeah, so another thing, so which, for example, in my case, could be a little bit maybe scary in this case, right, is that you are under some sort of threat, right? So you are motivated in a negative fashion. I think that's what it's kind of called, broadly speaking, right? You have this kind of like negative motivation. You have the motivation based by, yeah, some sort of fear of failure, for example, right? Or some sort of like negative circumstances. Whatever repressions and so on, right? All kinds of like negative things that could happen. But at the same time, if I think I have some sort of paradigm shift in my mind, I can tell to myself, right? Okay, well, let's just consider those threats and fears as something actually useful, something practical that will kind of fire me up and fuel me and let me go forward and progress and develop. So that's actually not too bad. So that becomes more manageable. So because you can like tell yourself, well, let's just not be afraid of this and use it as a fuel. And we can just kind of like use some sort of methods. There is a variety of them that we can like take into account and then implement the methods to reduce the like what's not hormone, but cortisol levels, right? So the stress hormone level that will kind of like go up under the threatening circumstances, but we can manage that as well. So overall, it's not too bad, as Wahab said, when you are kind of like chased by the lion. So yeah, taking into account that mostly we're not chased by lions, right? So in this modern world, so there are some other manifestations of lions. So yeah, we should be fine. There is no particular kind of like threat of being, I don't know, mauled to death, let's say.
Just to add on to that, like I love what you guys both said, like Wahab, you with the lion being like chasing you, and then or like you like using, I guess like fear of failure, fear of loss as like
Negative
a fuel.
motivation, yeah, I
Yeah,
think,
negative motivation, but in a
broadly
positive
speaking,
way. Yeah.
yeah,
And a couple of things to add to that, really. Like, it was something about like that I watched not too long ago. And it says that everyone wants to win, everyone hates to lose, but not everyone is willing to do what it takes to win. And they covered a bunch of things, right? They covered like you have to master that feeling of fear and doubt in your mind, not ignore it,
yeah.
welcome that feeling.
Okay,
Like
yeah,
accept that feeling of, losing, accept the feeling of doubt. And accepting that feeling is not being afraid of it. Like accept the fear, accept that you're gonna fail, accept that you're gonna have setbacks along the way, and just know that these setbacks are only there for you to prove that you can come back. Because if you don't have setbacks, then you're not gonna progress. You're not gonna get any stronger. You're not gonna improve yourself. Like I guess without setbacks, that's where like the maintenance mindset comes. Like you have to have setbacks, you have to have failures, just so you can prove to yourself that you can achieve it. And just to again touch on like the winning mindset, like if you don't take these actions, if you don't focus on progress, if you don't focus on improvement, if you don't focus on that feeling of fear and doubt in your mind and just like accepting the panic, accepting the fear, then the only thing that's guaranteed is losing. And no one wants that. Even though winning is never guaranteed, even though like full on success is never guaranteed, like progress is always guaranteed, learning is always guaranteed, growth and improvement are always guaranteed. And these are like what we call the small victories, the small moments of winning that happen after setbacks. And then we get those moments where we're proud of ourselves. We celebrate those moments, like sleep that extra hour, like Wahab you were saying, or go and have that cheat meal you wanted to. And then like be proud of the moment, celebrate what you got, but don't be satisfied with where you are. Because as soon as you're satisfied with where you are, that's where, like you mentioned in the beginning of the video, or like you fall into this rut. You develop that destination fixation. That's what we want to avoid. Remember, it's about the
yeah.
journey, not the destination, kind of thing. Wow, guys, these talks can get so deep. I love
Exactly. Yeah.
it.
We can actually even visualize something for our listeners. I was thinking, so let's say this gold coin, right, which I was demonstrating at the beginning, or which will be at the whatever it's called icon for this episode, right? So let's say this is the goal, right? So that looks like a singular point to me, more or less. And then if you think about going towards that goal, it will be represented by, let's say, this styrofoam cup from the, actually it's from Puerto Rico Trench. Stay cool under pressure, it says. It's a gift. So from a friend. So yeah, then this cup will travel like that, right? So from the depth, right? So we kind of are kind of at the nascent stage of going towards the goal. Then there's going to be some sort of, okay, up in the progress. And it's going to be like a down in the progress, increase in the progress, down in the progress, or decrease, right? So we kind of like mostly we have kind of like what's it called? We have made a long path, right? So there is a lot of substance as we move towards this goal. The goal itself is just kind of a small thing, right? It's not like that. It does not occupy the entire space, right? So otherwise we would not have to achieve it because it's kind of like all around us. And then what happens? There could be some sort of danger here, right? We achieve this point of the goal. That's when I think the maintenance start, because if we start maintaining somewhere midway, then we'll not get to the goal, right? So there is no maintenance. There is going to be kind of this process, right? Full of ups and downs, some sort of like fears and then setbacks, for example, in particular, as Aziz emphasized, right? So, and then here, that's when we can start the maintenance, and that's when we can kind of have the dip in our performance overall, right? So, or we can like maintain, we can be kind of at this plateau, but also there's going to be another option. So yeah, to go down, right, which is what happened to me like several times actually in my life, not once, because I didn't learn apparently from my experiences, so which is now I'm going to do. So you can go down, right, in performance. You can stay at the same level, so but those options are kind of like not good. To maintain, it's not fun, right? So you just kind of become bored, I would say. If you go down, you're kind of too satisfied, you don't improve, and then eventually kind of the circumstances bite you in the ass and then they make you go down, right? So you go down. So that's not good either, like for you, not satisfying. Or you can go up. So that's going to be kind of another available option. So mostly it's dangerous, boring, dangerous, right? So boredom leads to danger. So, but here, that's when you need to go up again, right? That's where you want to be, ideally. So, and then eventually, so you will see that you are making some sort of progress, right? Then you're making more progress. And that's what you'll need to enjoy, even if this path upward is kind of, could be full of some sort of like setbacks. For example, I experience setbacks literally every day, and they are unexpected. So whatever might happen can happen, and I need to deal with that. So, but that's kind of all about the journey. That's where you will find actually less dangers to your performance. You will find mostly opportunities to develop. There's going to be lots of them. So, whereas when you achieve the goal, you can hit the maintenance stage, or you can go down in your performance, or you can go up as well. So we mostly need to, I think, enjoy the journey. Then looks like there is less dangerous stuff than when you achieve the goal.
That's why setbacks are good. Like
Yeah.
it's good to have like these like moments where you're like, okay, setback, failure, like these just cause you to like, I guess, push further. And even though like any setback that can seem as terrible as it does in the moment, like eventually, as soon as you like, carry on and like learn from that setback and you just keep doing things to, I guess, improve and grow, like you're gonna look back at that setback and be like, this happened for a good reason. This happened because I needed to grow. This happened because I needed to improve on something instead of being stuck where I am and like maintaining whatever I have been doing before. Because when I think maintain, I think like the same. I think boring. I think no progress. I
Okay.
think no growth.
Yeah.
I think no improvement. Whereas like when I think improvement, I think, like you're pushing to work on something, and then you hit it, and then like you hit a roadblock, you hit a setback, and then that's when you have to like take a step back and think what's going on, what do I have to do next, what can I improve on, how can I progress, and then you just keep moving. That's what I wanted to say.
Yeah. That is very true. So yeah, if we think about that, looks like we conclude, then it's kind of not so important to achieve the goal. It's more important to pay attention to the journey towards this destination. I'm not saying that the goals are not important, right? So once you achieve it, so you can maybe celebrate, right? You can get yourself some reward, but then you need to, for example, or I would say I need to be aware of the fact that I need to think about right away how to move up and forward upon the achievement of the goal, right? So maybe it's going to be, okay, let's say I achieve some goal, and then, for example, I buy myself a vehicle, right? Or something like that. So, but then I think, well, I bought this vehicle, right? So that's part of the goal achievement. I celebrated, maybe I went to the restaurant, kind of like I had a good time. Okay, great. So that's kind of like a reward, gives me some sort of like amount of dopamine or whatever the hormone of happiness is, and satisfaction, right? And I'll need to like move on. So I will use those things as building blocks. For example, with the new vehicle, I'll be able to, let's say, transport, let's say, more bicycles in this using this vehicle, right? And then I'll be able to achieve further fitness goals, for instance. So yeah, that's kind of like an example of how to utilize goals for future progress and use them as stepping stones to achieve more and progress more overall.
Yeah, and sometimes we realize that we've been in a maintenance mindset too late.
Yeah,
Like we reach at that point where the maintenance mindset sort of put us on autopilot. And now we're just autopiloting through all these things that we've seen previously as challenges, as endeavors we've had to complete. And what happens is they sort of stopped adding on to character. So now the struggle of getting a daily workout in, the struggle of, trying to find the peace of mind to read X number of books and applying those practices to like our life, that becomes autopilot. But the thing is, it's dangerous to have autopilot on for too long because then it drives us right back into the comfort zone. And then slowly after slowly, it strips away habit after habit. Like we mentioned, previously, now we're sleeping in a little extra longer. We just don't want to read the book. Those feelings come not intentionally, but subconsciously. Because the settling mindset and just saying that, oh no, we've maintained it long enough. We're good now. We don't need to add on. We don't need to improve. That tells us, hey, stop what you're doing. It's okay. And then, you know, way down the line, when sometimes we lose that drive, what makes us seek knowledge, seek improvement, seek betterment, it just goes away. And now we're more focused on, oh, let me just sit back at home. I didn't need to do anything. And something we mentioned in a previous podcast episode is the power of journaling. And I think that writing down, like handwritten, not typed, is such a powerful weapon because we deliberately turn off the autopilot button and take a look at our actions. And I don't have the episode off the top of my head, but we did mention like the different types of journaling, like recording action, planning betterment,
giving yourself a
evaluating the day,
grade. Yeah, that's right. So
grading yourself,
that's a good one, actually.
even from the fulfillment episode 11, I believe, where we talked about self audit, is that we have to be careful that these behaviors as well don't turn into autopilot behaviors. Because if these autopilot behaviors, this is kind of like when you hit Control Alt Delete and you want to get Task Manager to just close
Yeah.
a broken application, and now Task Manager is not responding. So, now what do you do? Hard reset.
I agree with
Yeah.
all of that. No, no, you guys all said very, very good points, to be honest. And at the end of the day, I think like two things drive us, yes? Love and fear. Like the love for something and the fear of not going to where you want to go. And out of the two things, I think one that pushes you further, like you mentioned or like before, is that negative motivation. That fear of not achieving what you want, I think is one of the best motivating factors for you to discipline yourself, to focus, to
Exactly.
work,
Yeah.
to improve, to progress, to get to what you want. And then once you get to what you want, you have that fear of losing it. You have that fear of like losing yourself or whatnot, or like, going back to where you were. And no one wants to go back to where they were. No one wants to stay where they are. You want to, again, progress, progress, progress. And I think, and like, this may sound too harsh, I think one of the worst things I can like see in a person is, let's say, like, I meet up with a friend who I haven't seen in like a year or two or whatnot.
Oh yeah.
When I go and see that friend, and I see the exact same person that I saw when I last
Mm,
like spoke to them, like 2, 3, whatever years ago. Like, this just shows that this person didn't focus on growth, didn't focus on progress, didn't focus on mindset. And then again, like, I'm not saying like judge that person, because you never know what anyone's going through. But then
yeah.
again, like that's when you truly know like whether someone is focused on progress, improvement, or whether someone is just like, content with being average, content with like just being boring, I guess, for lack of better words.
Oh yeah. Yeah, so that can happen. We can kind of see that in ourselves, especially. So now that I think about this statement by Aziz, right, about being content. So I can actually gauge this level of contentment, right, and being in a rut from my actually not diary, but diary entries, right? So yeah, because I try to just let's say wake up or before I go to bed, uh, write something in my diary, right, whatever it might be. And then if I kind of like go back to those writings and then kind of like see what they are like, then I could see, for example, okay, well, I'm progressing, right, based on kind of like the entries in my diary, or if I'm stuck, again, based on the entries in my diary. If they are different, if I can feel some kind of sense, see some sense of progress, right, based on my writings, then okay, I'm on the right path for myself. But if kind of I write essentially the same thing over and over from day to day over some period of time, then it is an alert for me and a cause for alarm. So, okay, well, I need to do something, right? So, because I can either hide from that or I can face this problem. So, yeah, there are not so many kind of like choices when we are presented with some sort of situations, right? So, it's pretty straightforward if we overall want to become better in life. So if you want to kind of like be completely even, right, and not progress, maybe, yeah, so you will kind of like have just one choice of moving on in the non-progressive state. So that could be the case. So I don't judge. So, but if let's say, if you're listening to this podcast, most likely you are trying to progress, right? Then, yeah, well, your kind of like choices will be either to go up, right, or to kind of like stay in this rut. So that's kind of like not so difficult to deal with the situation when you see that you are stuck. So what to do? Okay, well, two options, or maybe three, actually, not more. Either go down from there or continue being in a rut, or go up. So yeah, it's all dealable with.
I love how you both mentioned journaling and like writing down like your thoughts, your goals, your ambitions, anything. And because like I do the same thing, and I've been doing it now for quite some time. So, and like I keep that same journal. And the other day I was just going back and I was looking at what I used to
Okay.
write before, how I used to think before compared to now. And honestly, like I've seen the progress in my mental growth. I've seen the progress in my thoughts. I've seen the progress in myself. And I guess that's like one of the great ways to even like, let's tie it back to our accountability episode. Like, this is like a record of my thoughts from like months up until now. And then I've truly seen the progress, like, and this again like comes down to being proud of how far you've come, but not being satisfied. And I'd say like the only way I see it is like we keep improving, we keep going up from there. Because like we don't stop. People like us, guys, we don't stop.
Yeah, I believe that. So yeah, and at this point, yeah, we kind of hit this situation when we do not, I think, so in this particular episode, right? So we do not think about, okay, well, how to achieve the goal, right? We think at this process of goal achievement, right, from a different point. So we kind of go in, we start at the achieved goal, right? So then what happens there? So yeah, that's sort of the important point to think about, because people think about the goals oftentimes, for example, at the beginning of the year. Okay, well, these are my new year resolutions. I want to do this and that and become like something, achieve something, right? So, but maybe we need to call it not new year goals, right? But new year progresses, for example, or new year progressions, something like that. So, and then this will help us concentrate more on the journey, right? Not on the goal, because once we get to the goal, looks like, yeah, we are done. But in fact, we need to be aware that actually the happiness is not at the achievement of the goal. That's in fact where the happiness might happen, but also that's where the dangers can lie as well. Not only at the destination, I would say. And then maybe there are even like more dangers at the goal achievement, right? Because when you are achieving the goal, you're kind of focused, you need to provide effort, right? So to achieve that goal. But when you achieve the goal, then you relax. And that's when you can be struck in some sort of dramatic fashion by whatever circumstances appear when you achieve the goal, right? So for example, if I achieve the goal of, let's say, getting some award, okay, well, I got the award, I'm now relaxed, right? And then, but the work keeps going, right? And then I cannot keep up with the work requirements, and then I go down because I'm not kind of like alert anymore.
I mean, it's good to relax. It's good to take it easy. Like, it's good to, like, I guess, like, celebrate and like I always say, give yourself the rest you've earned.
Yeah, that's right. But it just needs
Give
to be
yourself the rest you
moderate,
deserve.
I would say.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But don't get too used to it, and don't make it a habit of like always being relaxed.
That's right. So yeah.
But like, it's good to give yourself a break, regardless.
There should be no
That's
like
why we sleep at night.
celebration habit, let's say, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can kind of celebrate the goal infinitely. So that's
Yeah.
what I think I was not aware of, and then that's what kind of like brought me down big time in like at sometimes in my life.
Happens. It happens. These things happen. Do we want to go with closing remarks now? If anyone wants to say any final thoughts?
I think if we can sum up this whole discussion in 2 words, it would be never settle.
Yeah, I would say goal achievement, not dichotomy, but a trichotomy, if this word exists, because when you're at the goal, right? So because we can kind of think about, okay, well, is the goal a person on the top of the mountain with some sort of star or a, what's it called, the cup, right? Some sort of chalice, right? Golden chalice, right? So, but in fact, it's not only the golden chalice and the top of the mountain and the star. It's also, okay, well, you have this positive achievement, but then you have the trichotomy of the goal associated with that. You can stay at the plateau of the goal, right? So, which is not good, in my opinion, right? So, or you can become too relaxed, and then your performance will go down, and then you will fall actually back to the like where you started, right? Let's say, and you need to start over, or you can go up and then achieve more goals and then enjoy more progress, most importantly, towards the achievement of those goals. So that's what you need to think about after you achieve the goal, I would say.
And I guess my 2-word summary of this would be 3 different versions of 2 words, but they all mean the same thing. Don't stop, keep pushing, keep going. All of
That's
these
way
send the
more than
same
2
message.
words.
No, I mean like they're each like, so don't stop is one version of 2 words. Keep pushing is the other set, and then keep going is another. They all send the same message of don't settle, which you said in the beginning, Wahab, and ties into what you said as well. Or like,
Indeed.
yeah.
Okay, well, let's enjoy this journey, and then today we might have achieved some goal of, let's say, releasing one more episode, right? So, but by no means we'll say, well, it was good. Maybe it was good somewhere, right? So, but also we have tons of improvements to make, and that's what in part will fuel us to make more episodes and bring you more value to you guys.
I hope so.
Yeah,
We keep going.
exactly. Quite confident.
Oh yeah. Always. Always a pleasure to speak with you guys, and yeah, we keep going. We don't stop.
In particular, the achievement of today's goals was fueled up by the $1 coffee from the top of the campus of the University of Rhode Island.
If I
Really grateful.
Yeah. All right, yeah. I think I'd say thank you. Stay cool under pressure.
Exactly. So here's some motivational phrase for you to enjoy your journey more and beat those decreases in performances. Up and forward.
Up and forward. I like it.
Let's
right.
get after it.
Well, thank you everyone for tuning in, and we truly hope and we believe, we're actually confident that you did derive some practical information after we have shared our views and experiences with you. So once again, this episode was sponsored by no one and nobody except our passion, motivation, and zeal for
Discipline
improvement.
and discipline.
And discipline. It's
Yeah,
freedom,
Yeah.
as they say. Great. Okay,
Thank you guys.
well,
Thank you all.
thank
Peace.
you.
Until next
Bye,
time.
everyone.
Until next time.